Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord, the Braves offseason. We are right in the thick of it. And I know it's late October, but it's never too early to start talking about it. And I want to talk about just the mindset of Alex Anthopoulos and the way the Braves need to approach this offseason. So think about the last two off seasons. Think about how Alex Anthopoulos has operated pretty much his entire tenure as Braves GM. It's been all about value. When you talk about value, it's a very Moneyball-like approach. And I know the Braves have a lot more money than the Oakland A's did in the movie and the Oakland A's do today. And the Braves don't have to use an extreme level of Moneyball, but it's still the same approach in that he's looking at everything in terms of dollars equating to wins. So, it does go back to the analytics and the WAR and stuff like that. Like every WAR, let's say it's worth $7, $8, $9 million. So he's trying to get more WAR than what one WAR is worth. And that has led to amazing regular season success. But the reality of the situation is this Braves core has enough players on that right now, currently, if they just went into the season, currently constructed, didn't sign a pitcher, didn't sign bullpen pieces, whatever, they're probably going to finish first place in the division. They have that much talent. It's undeniable. You can't deny the results that have happened, 205 wins over the last two seasons. The problem is WAR is not always a conducive way to building a roster for October. And when you look at the Phillies rosters and you look at guys like Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos, those guys have like a combined 3 WAR. That would tell you like individually, they're basically as useful as like a Kevin Pillar, like a better Kevin Pillar. We know when you come to October how much value Castellanos and Schwarber bring. Same thing when it goes to the bullpen. You know, those guys in the bullpen may not accumulate a bunch of WAR, but come October, they can be the difference in a first-round exit and an October trophy raising ceremony. So I think the focus this entire offseason needs to go away from, the value and the WAR and all that stuff and really focus on getting guys in the buildings that are prepared for October, that have experience in October, that aren't afraid of the moment in October, and bullpen arms that are high-powered that you can load up. And those guys won't always be used in the regular season, but come October when you need to go to 6 or 7 guys because you have Bryce Elder starting in Game 3, you can do that rather easily.
Yeah, I saw some comments that said, I was very emphatic in the direction I want this offseason to go. And it's very similar to your mindset. And it's the bullpen. I want 6 guys. I want 6 excellent arms that you can pretty much get through an entire game if need be. If the starter, hits a bump, we don't even see over the bump. He's out of there. And we got a guy already warming up in the bullpen. And I saw some people comment, the bullpen isn't the reason why we lost the series to the Phillies. And listen, you're right. You're absolutely right. This historic offense just didn't show up when it mattered most. That's why the Braves didn't win. And that is why we're sitting here having these kind of conversations. The point I am trying to make is the core is already locked in. The only thing that you could really tweak is left field and shortstop. And how much are you going to do at shortstop with the market the way it is? Nothing. That's the answer. So really, the only position in terms of offense that you can upgrade is left field. It's bringing in one left fielder, even if it's, say, Cody Bellinger. Is he going to be, he's probably one of the best left outfield free agents that's going to be on the market. Bringing him in, inserting him instead of Eddie Rosario and Kevin Pillar, is that going to change the outcome of that Phillies series? The answer is probably not. So I understand the offense was the catalyst in the Braves' defeat, but the focus of the offseason has more to do with the 2024 postseason than it does correcting the 2023 postseason. The Braves' offense is already a juggernaut. We need guys who have got a set in their pants. We need guys, to Chase's point, who have experience. This team is rather green around the gills. Travis d'Arnaud is just about Ozzie Albies, or about the only guys who were really around for that 2021 World Series. Ronald Acuna was injured. Matt Olson wasn't on the team. He had a couple of playoff appearances with the A's. Does that really matter? Sean Murphy, no. Austin Riley did have experience. Michael Harris wasn't on the team. So the fact of the matter is we are extremely inexperienced when it comes to postseason baseball, whereas, say, the Phillies have veterans, 30-year-old guys who have been there, done that. Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, JT Realmuto. Those kind of guys are older. They've been there. They've done that. That's going to come with time. So I'm not, selling the ship and we need a wholesale changes. But adding a guy who's, got a little edge, got a little experience, can part wisdom on these guys. No offense, Kevin Pillar isn't that guy. He might be experienced. He might be, a little long tooth, could part some wisdom, but not in these kind of moments. There's no way that he could talk to Ronald Acuna and give him any advice other than, just go up there and do what you've been doing. So the guys who are in the core, they're just going to get better with more experience. The things that we can do this offseason to prepare for the 2024 postseason has everything to do with reshaping the bullpen, because you got two horses, you've got a core, you need to tweak a little bit. The things that can make wholesale changes that could dramatically improve your chances in the postseason, to me, are the bullpen. Of course, to your point, it would be nice to have some guys who've got a little bit of edge, who might not be as valuable in the regular season, but are valuable in the postseason. What I'm saying goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah, I mean, you just think back to that 21 series and season, and we all remember it very well. I mean, the guys that really stood out were Jock Peterson. Obviously, Eddie Rosario had his moment in the NLCS, and that almost feels like ages ago. But Jorge Soler as well. And there was just something about those guys in those series when they stepped up into the box that you knew the game could change with one swing of the bat. There was an intimidation factor. And Jock Peterson obviously isn't as intimidating as Jorge Soler when he steps into the box. But everybody knows what Jock Peterson has done in the postseason when he was with the Dodgers. And then he obviously carried that over to the Atlanta Braves. And there's just something about knowing a guy that's not scared, that can hit any ball out of the park, because he had such a weird style where the ball could be at his feet or at his head. He might be able to hit it out of the park, and he's trying to hit it out of the park. He really has one goal in mind when he's up there. So I'm not saying both of those guys happen to probably going to be free agents this year. Well, with Adam Duvall, I would like any or all of them back. I'm not saying that's the direction you have to go, but you have to start thinking about those are the kind of guys that you really want to add to this team. They don't cost a lot of money. They might not make a lot of sense financially when you're talking about, is Jock Peterson worth $20 million? No, over the regular season, he's not even close to worth $20 million. But come October, when he's hitting bombs, yes, he's absolutely worth it. You can say the same thing about Jorge Soler. That's where you got to throw WAR out the window. You can say the same thing about Kyle Schwarber for the Phillies. Like, the guy hits bombs in October. He has the most. He is like 18 postseason home runs. I mean, it's just absolutely absurd. So you can't be thinking about things from an analytical standpoint anymore. They have enough wins on this roster. It has to be everything has to be focused on winning postseason games, and whether it works or whether it doesn't. If the offense hits like it did, these core guys, we're probably not going to win any series. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. You just got to hope that they're going to perform better, but still surrounding them with guys that have contagious energy, have swagger, are not scared of the moment. And it doesn't necessarily have to be offensive players. There are pitchers out there that do this. There are guys that can come out of the bullpen, starting pitchers that have that same contagious energy that maybe I'm going to an all-time, maybe the greatest postseason pitcher of all time, but Madison Bumgarner was not the best pitcher in the regular season. But when that guy got in the playoffs, he was different, and he was different like we've never seen before, at least in my lifetime. Those are the guys. Everything has to be tailored around guys that can rise to the moment. And anything other than that is just, if you can't accept what's happened over the last two postseasons, you're going to fall victim again to the same fate.
I absolutely think Anthopoulos, in his exit interviews, he kind of addressed the fact he didn't give anything away for advantage sakes or for competitive sakes, but he kind of alluded to the fact that we've got to do something a little bit different than we've done the past 2 years, because we've had better teams these two past years than we had in 21, and we're first round exits compared to a 2021 World Series. The fact of the matter is this core today, with pretty much, minimal additions to the rotation, to left field, to shortstop, to the bullpen today, this is a 90-plus win baseball club. That gets you in the playoffs 10 out of 10 times. What we need to do is to just get that 1% better. That 1% better is going to show up in spades in October. That's what we have to be focused on. We don't have to be focused on winning 100-plus games every single year and breaking all these records. That just comes with building a great team. We have got to be how do we capture what the Phillies have right now and what the Braves had in 2021? It has more to do with ethos and personality than it does box score.
Yep. I agree 100%. I think that's going to be the focus. I don't think Anthopoulos is an idiot. I think he's going to learn from his mistakes. That's how I expect them to approach the offseason. Coming up after the break, will Michael Soroka be with the Braves in 2024?